LSD is a psychedelic drug that is known to alter your perception and create hallucinations. In its pure state, it's a white odorless crystalline substance, and nowadays is sold on blotter paper. LSD's full name is lysergic acid diethylamide and is a synthetic chemical that was made in 1938 from a substance of a fungus that grew in a rye, or a grain. It's a compound that contains carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, and is usually swallowed and dissolved on the tongue. However, it can also be sniffed, injected, or smoked. LSD binds to serotonin receptors in the brain, and that can lead to feelings of happiness, satisfaction, and optimism. The effects of LSD is similar to other psychedelics, where they cause trips or induce feelings of euphoria, visual or auditory hallucinations, or intensify emotions and sensations. However, these trips can involve disturbing hallucinations that can lead to panic and risky behavior. Like other psychedelics, users can face withdrawal symptoms like increased heart rate, nausea, paranoia, panic, loss of appetite, etc. In 1943, inventor Albert Hofmann accidentally touched LSD and put it in his mouth, experiencing the first drug trip of LSD. How, dude? LSD research continued in the 50s and 60s, especially in the CIA, where they administered LSD to employees, military personnel, doctors, patients with mental illnesses, and members of the general public to study their reactions without even them knowing. During the 60s, there was a counterculture of LSD and attracted mass media attention from the world, especially in places like San Francisco about a hippie invasion. However, more cases of hospitalizations from LSD led to negative opinions about the drug. In 1970, LSD was made a Schedule 1 drug, stopping all medical research about LSD and its possible uses in psychiatry. Recently, LSD research has seen a comeback where researchers believe that LSD can be used as a therapy, specifically psychedelic therapy. This therapy could be used to treat patients with death anxiety or life-threatening illnesses, finding that after 12 months of treatment, patients have reported a reduction in anxiety and a rise in quality of life. It also showed that a study involving 20 healthy volunteers that were given 75 micrograms of LSD reported higher traits in optimism, openness, creativity, and imagination 2 weeks later. There is also a trend of microdosing where people take 1/10 of a recreational dose of LSD and only experience the newfound alertness and creativity from it. Although these results have been so far so good, there hasn't been a lot of scientific studies about it, and there have been extreme cases where people develop HPPD, or hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, where people experience persisting visual hallucinations after a previous hallucinogen experience, usually resolving in a few weeks or several months. LSD is a drug that trips you out, and it had some research for it during the 50s and was part of the counterculture in San Francisco in the 60s, until in the 70s when it was made a Schedule 1 drug and was banned. However, now it has seen a revival in studies and shows promise to be used as a therapy for those with death anxiety and life-threatening illnesses, and it's also a way to experience higher traits of alertness and creativity through microdosing. However, the research in psychedelics and hallucinogens is still relatively new, so there is still much more to learn about LSD and its possible uses in psychiatry. So,